Reddit. The gift that keeps on giving. I always find a post up here that intrigues me. Today we'll be taking a deep dive on a post that I found on the RBI subreddit about a Redditor whose neighbor tried to take their house from them.
This is their story.
On June 12, 2021, at 4:35 p.m., a Redditor of the name HalfHippie3 would make a post on the RBI subreddit asking for help about how to deal with a neighbor that was actively trying to take their house. Their post is as follows. Lunatic woman keeps using my address. Why? We bought this house 5 years ago. When we were looking at the house, the realtor made an offhand comment that there was a woman that was obsessed with the place. It's not any fancy or special or cool house, it's just a normal house. I didn't think much about his comment and we moved in. Next thing you know, our electrical account was changed to her name. Then the deluge of mail started. Medical bills, catalogs, magazines, etc. I work in a medical office. I was walking her bills into the nearby offices and warning them that she was using our address and to make her verify her address before seeing her for her next appointment. One somehow let it slip that her ID does indeed have my address on it. That must have been why she changed the electrical account, to verify address with the state. I did flag it as fraud on the Ohio DMV website, but who knows what happened after that. We were getting more mail from her than for ourselves at one point. I RTS a lot, personally called the rest. It finally stopped for maybe a year, then started back up. I found out that she registered to vote with my address. I had to call the Board of Elections. They flagged her again. She did vote in an election with this address. Next thing you know, medical supplies got delivered for her. I happened to be home and I sent it back with the driver. Her only record on the court docket here was an eviction notice. She lived a few doors down, same address but switched a 1 to a 4. How do I get this to stop? I can't track her down. When I look her up, my address shows up. What's her motivation? It's weird. Edit to add. I think she's a bit crazy, not necessarily dangerous. The only trace of her that I've found is an old Facebook account where she claims that she's a fashion designer and world traveler. Her posts are rather nonsensical. She is smart enough, however, to concoct this elaborate scheme to establish residency here. I know she's in bad health due to mail from a nursing home and Medicare, and a wound vac, so I don't think she can physically break in. Redditors would begin to give their suggestions as to what to do in this situation. One Redditor of the name AnnaBanana82 would make a great suggestion, with them stating, she's trying to establish legal residency by receiving mail at your address. If she is successful, she can leverage your state's squatter rights and additional eviction moratoriums, plus bagged law courts, and additional protection from COVID relief acts. Varies by state and municipality, and the legality is iffy right now. To claim she has a right to the home. If she, for example, breaks in and you call the cops, good luck proving she doesn't live there, considering that she's got mail going there and has for over a year now. OP, please take this very seriously. Contact your local postmaster and the FBI, and put fraud alerts on everything with the credit bureaus. Call utility companies and set passwords on your accounts. Call the county recorder and assessor as well as your realtor who sold you the house, and make sure you have clear title and she hasn't filed any claims. Finally, and I'm not kidding here, contact the FBI. They should have an online portal that allows you to report mail fraud, which is what she's technically doing. Finally, contact your local PD and start filing reports. Let them know you feel you are being stalked and that you're worried she's going to try to break into squad. Let them know you have filed a mail fraud with the FBI/US Postmaster. Case numbers or confirmation numbers, if you have them, will help. Finally, contact an attorney for a consult. They can often be done via Zoom for expediency and convenience, and have them outline any further steps you might need to take. If you have the extra few $100, should it be more than $300 or $500 total, I would have an attorney draft a cease and desist order and hire a process server to find her and serve her. Again, OP, please take this seriously. I am absolutely positive this woman will try to use the mail as a way to try and establish legal rights to interest in your home. There are many insane stories of people losing their homes to squatters. Please don't make the mistake of thinking you can't fall victim. Good luck. I'm a real estate agent in California, so I keep an eye on real estate and property going-ons. Unfortunately, in some places like California, getting rid of squatters is insanely difficult no matter what the facts are. Same for New York. Illegal lockouts are common, but the cops will force your landlord to let you back in if you can prove you live there. Hence the existence of these laws, to protect tenants from being illegally evicted. Unfortunately, professional squatters often make use of legal loopholes to go so far as take not just constructive but legal possession. Since most of the time this is a civil and not a criminal issue, and eviction needs a judge's orders. And we all know how expedient and efficient our legal system is, which is to say it isn't. So basically, someone can live live at a home for years and get utilities because it's largely a civil issue and the cops won't help without a judge's order to evict. And even then there's some delay tactics. So please keep an eye on whom you allow to stay with you even as an overnight guest. Keep an eye on your mail, and if there's a repeat mail for the same person, notify the post office and put a note in your mailbox. Tape it down so it stays, saying that such and such doesn't live here and not to deliver mail to this address and their name. Don't give anyone your house key if you can help it. Get a lock with a combo keypad and change it often. Better yet, get a smart lock with remote access. Actually, get both. Keep an eye on your credit report. If you own a home and something weird is happening, get everything in writing and get familiar with your state's tenant and squatters' rights laws. Be extremely cautious with temporary rentals such as Airbnbs, as these are often a way for squatters to get a foot in the door. OP, you mentioned her health. I would worry that her renewed efforts might have some intent to cloud the title of the home and cause legal issues by willing it to her kids maybe. It's possible she's just weird and harmless, but all the things she is doing seem rather purposeful, and in this day and age, it is much better to be safe than sorry. Good luck, OP. These are excellent suggestions from Anna here. OP should contact their local postmaster and anyone they can to set up fraud alerts and set good passwords on all their accounts. OP would make a comment with them giving out important information with them stating, "We do have cameras all over the house, so I can at least prove easily that she's never been in here, so her claim of living here is BS. I would like to think that there's also a paper trail of me contacting various medical offices, the BMV, and elections board over the past 5 years. As for breaking in and squatting, we have 7 kids. You'd have to be crazy to want to just come inside and stay here." Well, this is good to know that OP has cameras around their house, as this is obviously great for extra security just in case whoever is trying to legally take their house tries to break in. A Redditor would then ask OP though, where are the recordings stored though? If they're not internet connected cameras storing the footage in the cloud, then make sure you have offsite backups of whatever's on your hard drives. I'm just thinking of what her endgame is here, such as she eventually breaks in one day, uses all her proof of address to change the locks, and then all your proof she doesn't live there is inside her house. Police come and she produces all this mail addressed to her as well as her ID with your address on it, and you suddenly don't have any access to any of your documents backing up your claim to the house. I would also consider visiting all the local locksmiths around the area and letting them know about the situation in case she tries something like this. This is a good point this Redditor brings up. If OP's storage for the footage of the cameras isn't stored in a safe place, this neighbor could break in and compromise the footage. However, OP would update this Redditor with good news with them stating, "They're all in the cloud. It's 2 separate brands, 2 separate clouds, one covers a blind spot in the main cameras." This is good news. This will hopefully let OP have footage at any time if needed if this woman tries to do anything physical to their property or house. Another Redditor would also bring up a good point with them stating, "Do you know if the previous owner of your home was elderly or died by chance? Given that she lived a few doors down and you're receiving medical related mail and supplies, maybe some type of insurance or welfare or disability fraud. Maybe she is pretending to provide hospice care for the previous owner, or she's figured out a way to collect some type of disability or welfare payments intended for them. Might make sense if she was a neighbor to them and, especially if they were elderly, figured out a way to exploit a scenario for her gain. That could explain why she needs to prove she lives there specifically and why you mostly receive medical stuff. This is a good theory. It's possible this neighbor has exploited the way the mail is being delivered and gathering medical stuff from a different address." However, OP would reply to this comment stating, "Nope, he's still around and in good health. She isn't in good health though, I'm assuming from all the medical bills and attempted delivery of a wound vac and Medicare paperwork." Well, this is good news then that this isn't the case. Another Redditor would point out the fact that some states have parts of their voting record as public information, and that OP should contact their local county board of elections, which OP would reply with, "They are public record here. I do volunteer work for an organization and I have easy access to voter records. She did vote in the general election here. The county BOE confirmed when I called them and said they'd flag her if/when she votes next. But I'm going to go ahead and send an inquiry with the Secretary of State through the website." This is good that OP is sending an inquiry to the Secretary of State. Hopefully they flag this neighbor when they try to vote next time. Eventually, some days later, a Redditor would ask OP if there were any updates, which OP would reply with, "No, I just have her flagged with the DMV and election board. I actually haven't gotten any of her mail in a few weeks. I'm a little weirded out." A year would pass after this update when another Redditor would ask for an update again, and OP would reply with, "Dead silent. I'm assuming she's either in a long-term elder care facility or has passed away." Well, hopefully this issue was resolved for OP and they don't have to deal with this neighbor trying to take their house from them. But alright, that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. What did you think of this post? Did you think it was real or fake? Personally, I think it has the chance of being real. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of this post. But as always,
Have a nice day.